Hello, everybody. Welcome back to yet another episode of Sakai Developer School. In this, we have our esteemed Professor Adrian, who is going to take us further down the road of the permissions widget. And last time if you recall from our last episode, there was this moment where I was like, okay, let's just print hello world here. And Adrian was like, no, let's just put the permissions widget in a tag. I'm like, really? That's all we got to do? So we still got a little bit more to do on that permissions widget, but I was singularly impressed that we didn't have to print hello world. We just put in the permissions widget. Now, it wasn't fully configured because there's more attributes we got to put on, but it is impressive to kind of watch once you have built up a stack of web components and then just drop a thing in. And it's like, oh, that was way easier than I thought it was. And that's from a person who's been doing jQuery for way too long. Because nothing's easy in jQuery because you just got to take your hammer out and like bang the markup until the markup does what you want. But with web components, the abstraction is like beautiful. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our beautiful abstraction maker, Adrian. And let's take a look at how to play with this abstraction. I got to leave early today. So go ahead and share your screen, Adrian. I got to leave early and go to the dentist. My dentist does not negotiate well. So we'll have to have a hard stop in time for my dentist. So we only better get a half hour this week.
Right. Hopefully you are seeing
See in the browser.
my screen. Yep. I'm just trying to find
Did you share your browser or did you share your screen? Because otherwise we're not going to see your VI terminal.
No, you can see that. There you go. You see that, right? Yep.
Oh, I do see a VI terminal, so we're good now.
Brilliant. Where is it? Hang on a minute. I'm just trying to where's my tab? Where's my tab? There's my tab, right? Superb. Right, okay. Right. So yeah, so today what we're gonna do is we're just gonna we've not got a great deal of time in today's episode, right? So we're just going to look at the steps you have to take to get your permissions widget actually displaying the permissions, right? Last time we met, we just saw that it just kind of showed the shell of the permissions, right? So we want to go further than that and actually show our pages tool permissions. So I'm just starting my Tomcat up, so you may see some delay going on. While that's happening, what we'll do is we'll go across and we'll have a look at some pieces of code, right? So this is the pages.
Yeah, this is the line of code that impressed the heck out of me last time. Like, I want to print hello world here, but you just put in a permissions widget.
Yeah, right, exactly right. This is a permissions widget. So probably the most important attribute that we put on this widget is tool equals pages, right? So anybody that knows anything about Sakai tools, anybody that's done any Sakai development before will know that we have something called a common ID, right, for our tool, right? And it's the common ID is the ID that's shared across all the Sakai code base, and it identifies what that tool is called in the code, right? So Sakai pages is actually called Sakai.pages. Now, the reason I'm saying this is that we don't use the prefix when we're passing the attribute to the permissions widget. We just use the bit after Sakai dot, right? We use pages, and I'll show you why in a second. This is related to the way we name our permissions. So I'll quickly hop across. So my Tomcat is still starting up there. That's fine. Tomcat can take his time. We don't care. If we go across to the actual pages tool code, if people remember or if they want to look at some of the old videos, right, we have a translation pack in here, like a Java resource bundle. In Sakai, we usually call these something dot properties, right? So whatever your tool's called. This thing here is the important point of what I was just talking about with the widget attribute, right? So this Sakai permissions widget takes an attribute called tool equals pages. in the pages tool, we have a file called pages.properties. And this is convention, right? This is convention. So, you know, we're trying to use more convention in the Sakai code base, and we try to teach people about those conventions because it makes life smoother for developers down the road if they understand the conventions we're using, right? So we're using a convention in Sakai usually of the tool name without the prefix. So instead of saying Sakai.pages.properties, we just call it pages.properties. We've seen this before. These property keys, we use them in our web component, yeah. But what I've added here is a new convention. So this was added with the permissions widget. When I added the permissions widget to our code base, I settled on a convention. How do you teach the permissions widget what strings to use to display the permissions with a checkbox? How do you tell the permissions widget what to display, right? This is the convention that I settled upon, and you'll see this in various tools across Sakai now, right? So you got perm hyphen, and then the name of the permission. So I don't know if we recall, if I just have a look at this file here. So we have a file in the pages code where I define, you know, statics for our permissions, right? So I've got add page equals pages.add.page, delete page, pages.delete.page, yeah? In our properties file, you know, our translations file, right? I'm using exactly the same string here, pages.add.page equals add a page. Pages.delete.page equals delete a page. Obviously, this is English, right? So we'd need to translate into other languages. This is a secret sauce, right, for how the permissions widget locates its strings. When you build the Pages API, this stuff gets deployed into Tomcat lib, and it's available everywhere in Sakai from that point. So this permission string, this translation is available everywhere in Sakai once you've deployed it. So I'm going fast, but that's the convention. Perm hyphen.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Why isn't like actions at the very top, like pages.actions and pages.add page content label and whatever, where what if or are these already namespace to the pages.properties somehow?
Yeah, the namespaced. Yeah, the namespaced.
So
Yeah.
there's inside this file we're namespaced. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Because you're loading this particular file, basically. You're loading this particular file at a
Yeah.
particular time.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So that should be built now, right? So if we go across to here, hopefully our Tomcat has come up. Has it come up? Is anything actually happening here?
It's up. It's just higher.
Yeah, it's just higher. Yes, stuff's happened since.
More stuff has happened. More stuff has happened.
Okay, so now if I just refresh that, yeah, that's logged in. That's great. If I go down here to the actual, I may have to build. I think I have to build the pages component as well, which does not involve a Tomcat restart, so don't worry about that. If I go down here to the pages tool and get our yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It's there. It's magic.
Yeah, it's already working. Right, so there you go. That's it. That was easy, wasn't it? So these are coming from that properties file, these two strings, right?
And the list is coming from the permissions file. It didn't look like there was an array of permissions. How does it know all of the permissions, or does it look for any permission with a prefix of pages?
Yeah, it does two requests. It does a request for the translations. Well, it already gets those in the pages component bundle, right?
Right.
And it also does a fetch request against a direct endpoint we have called get perms and set perms.
And that's how this works best. To the current tool. Oh, that's got the pages parameter that came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
That. If we look at, so I've already, hang on. permissions entity provider. See, I've already opened this file in anticipation of
My
so
question.
this here, get perms, right? That is what the permissions widget is calling to get the current set of checkbox states, right? So there should also be a set perms in there as well, right? So there you go, set perms. This is old school. This is the old direct endpoint stuff, right? I've not moved it to
Yeah,
the
we
web
haven't moved this
API.
to Spring MVC style, but
Yeah, exactly. This is the old school stuff we've got. So we've got get perms and set perms. These are the functions that the permissions widget makes a fetch call to do its stuff. So now,
can you
if
just quickly
we
go into the browser and go into the debugger console and show us that fetch if it's there, the network?
yeah. Do I have to do it again? I have to refresh it, don't I? Do I?
Maybe.
Yeah. So refresh.
You got too small of a screen. There we go. I
Down
hate
here,
all
right?
that stuff up there.
Same. Yeah. I
Like,
mean, yeah.
why do
It
I
should
mean,
be.
sometimes you want that crap, but other times you don't want that crap. And it's not
Yeah,
clear
like
how to
now.
get rid of it.
I don't need now.
Yeah, I do the same, right? I do the same. Pages.
So that's pages J. Right, guys, tiny right. Can I grab that thing there and move that over? How can I get rid of this crap here on the top?
I can't get rid of that crap either.
Okay, so you've seen various things here. I agree. Pages.json.
You can just make
That's
the whole
get
thing bigger,
yeah, yeah,
and then you'll see what you want to see.
yeah.
Knuckleheads.
But that nothing else,
There we
right?
go.
Nothing else. So, so where is that permissions? Anyway, look, I don't want to get bogged down with this basically. Somewhere in here we are going to be pulling that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Let's not get bogged down because I got to go to the dentist in
yeah,
20.
I know. We know you've got to go to the dentist. We know. We all we all pity you as well. We all
Yeah.
feel sorry for you. Okay. Right. Right. So let's try and just do this. Because this is what we want to do. So just rolling back to the last kind of like episode, right? What we were trying to do was we wanted to add permissions now because we wanted to test whether the delete and add buttons vanish, right? You know what I mean? Because we want to make sure that we're
Because we're
we're
currently logged
reflecting.
in as maintain with the role of maintain.
Yeah. So if I now save that, right, and go back in, it's gone, right? So that's good. That's good. So
That
these
part
things are
works.
being updated. Yep, that works. Uh,
But I
yeah.
don't,
So what should happen now? So that's permissions done, right? We've done it.
the
That's
permissions
established.
widget is done and
Yeah,
it's
we can move on with that now. We can move on with our lives. So I've just basically said, right, um, maintain cannot add a page, okay? But yet we still have the add a page button. So this is what we've now got to start looking at. And this is where we wanted to get to last time, right? We wanted to add the permissions widget, be able to play around with permissions without having to go into an admin account and do all that kind of voodoo stuff in the sites tool, right? So we can now start to actually mutate this stuff. So I'm going to get on with that now, right? Basically. So that should not be showing, right? So we've got a bug, okay? Add page should not be showing because I've just removed, I'm a maintainer on this site, right? And I've just removed the permission for myself. I should not be able to add a page. I've removed it. So let's go and fix that. Let's go and fix that. Okay, let's get rid of that for now. Add page, render add page. So I've got a button. There's the button, right? Okay. So we're trying to use an
Ooh,
approach.
this is going to be easier than I think.
It should be, yeah, it should be. So this thing here, right? Add page URL is the kind of it's the URL, and it's also the switch which tells us whether we should render this button, right? It serves two purposes, right? The presence of it means that the current user can add a page, and it is also the URL, right? So, and it's not an attribute, it's false. We can update this stuff actually now. We can go state. I'll change those later. Yeah, with lit3, you can kind of say something's just state and not have to do this stuff, right? Attribute false. You can kind of short circuit that. This is just telling lit that don't try and reflect things back to the attribute. Don't do any of that kind of like processing. You don't need to. It's just a state variable. So if we go down here, yeah, that's right. So we're looking in the links, which is coming from the server, and we're saying if we find a link for add page, right? Set add page URL to the href for that. And we're achieving that through a bit of optional chaining, right? So if this call here, I'm refreshing this because people may not remember this stuff, right? And it's quite modern JavaScript here, right?
It's
So
helping me remember, so keep going.
Yeah, cool. So I'm looking through this array, right? So I've got my data from the server, yeah. I'm looking through this array of links. I'm trying to find something, right? I'm trying to find something called add page, right? So I'm saying, right, okay, find, that's this lambda, and I'm saying, right, if that matches, return true, right? Okay, it's going to fail, right? Or it's going to succeed, right? But we can test for that with optional chaining. So if this thing fails, if it comes back undefined, using this special operator here, optional chaining, means that it'll short circuit and it'll return undefined to this. Okay. And that's great. That's perfect. Because if that's not defined, we don't show the button add a page. Well, this is the interesting bit here. Right? We're saying find this. Find will return undefined if this lambda never matches. Okay. If this lambda never matches, find will return undefined. At that point, if we didn't have the optional chaining operator here, right, this will blow up and you get an error in your console, right? Optional chaining gets around that issue, right? So it's a bit like jQuery does this stuff automatically, right? You know, it's not explicit though. That's the difference between jQuery. jQuery will just silently, you don't even know whether something's failing or not, because jQuery will hide that for you, right? Which is good and bad at the same time, right? With modern JavaScript, we've got to say, well, this is an expected outcome, right? So we're going to use optional chaining for this, okay? It's expected that sometimes it will be undefined, and that's cool, right? So I like it. I like that. I like optional chaining. I do. I think it's great because like it puts the decision process in the developer's hands more than
I'll just say that this syntax speaks to me more than the Java version of this syntax.
Yeah. I like this stuff, you know, in JavaScript. I like this stuff a lot, you know. Right. So that's a quick refresher, right? So what we need to do is we need to go across now to our web API stuff, right? And we need to look at this data feed, right, and work out why add page is still being added.
I don't think we did anything there. Did we check permissions before we put that thing in?
Probably not. So
let's go to WebMVC.
Yep, let's get over there. So do I need to? Okay, let's start a new. So git. Okay. Oh, web API. So I'm opening the pages controller in the web API project, right? And this should be where we're. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Add page, right? So we're not checking any permissions, but we're just going on add page. So let's just quickly test something, right? So let's go.
Let's comment it out. Yeah.
We'll just
we could print hello world while we're at it. No, never mind. We don't print it. I always love to print hello world.
I know that people can go back and view the old videos, right? If they don't know what I'm talking about, but we might as well just build this and just see if that add button vanishes, right?
Oh, no, I
Because now,
love that. That's my way.
yeah. Let's just
It also
refresh.
kind of makes sure you're even editing the right file, and that the deploy is working. I mean, there's so many things that you're verifying when you're doing this. Okay, let's go hit refresh.
Let's just so
Oh,
let's
yeah.
look it up. That's good.
Watch the deploy, then go
Hmm.
hit refresh and watch the add button go away.
Yeah, it's gone, right?
Well played.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So that's working, right? So let's go back now and let's actually add our permission check in here. So we need to add some stuff now, right? So
You got to add an if statement.
Hmm? Oh
You have to add
yeah.
an
But
if
I
statement.
need to add some things though. I need to add
Oh,
the security service. So I'm going to auto wire it. Service. This should plop straight in there, right? Because I'm pretty sure we've imported the kernel stuff already. So security service. We need to put it in. It's in. Oh, what
it's
is it?
always dangerous when someone starts, a good VI person is in insert mode when they don't mean to be.
Security service, about that. Good. Okay, so what's the API security service? That should be there. Right. So now this is quite a this is a good moment actually for me to remind people about references, right? So if I go if uh security service
Unlock.
unlock
Yep.
and I think it's the permission. So I go permissions add page and I need the
Static
ref.
string.
Yep, and I need the reference, which is going to be it's for the site. So I'm asking the security service whether the current user can add a page within the current site, right? That's what I'm asking at the moment. Maybe groups will come into this later. Not too sure at the moment. Let's just stick to sites for the moment. So what I want is a site reference. So to do this properly, I would go like this. I think it's this. Oops. Site reference, site ID.
So I don't recall seeing that little second parameter, the site reference. Wow, I
Yeah,
got to do some
let's just have a
research.
look. Yeah, let's just have a look because
But
it
don't worry
is.
about it. No, let's just compile it. If it works, it works.
Nah, I want to check because I might have got this. I might have got it
Oh,
wrong. So,
okay.
uh, site service. Uh, oh, there you go. Site
Oh, no, it's
reference.
up there. It's up there. It's right there.
Sweet. Okay, good. So, if I go back here,
Yeah, most of
so
the code I write is like receiving references, and so I don't really just write a lot of code that generates references.
yeah,
So that's what we're doing. We're basically formatting, and that's really just a kind of a string transformation ultimately. That's not a
yeah. It's
There's
just
no database access going on in that site reference site ID. There is database reference going on in the security service, which is the most highly cached. That unlock is the most highly cached bit of Sakai there is.
yep.
Because we're
Definitely.
unlocking, you know,
Right,
I
cool.
never liked the word unlock, but we've used it for 20 years, so we're going to keep using it. It's more like,
Yep.
could I possibly unlock? Is really what
Yep.
it's asking.
Um, yeah, I need to add site service, don't I? Yes, I do. It's not going to work. So, yeah. Have we got-
I'm resisting the temptation to just talk about how horrible this code used to look in Sakai and how hard it was to make work. You have to do your annotation. You got to do
Yeah,
your
I
auto.
know that.
Okay.
I'm just wondering whether that's actually a static. Because it could be.
What's a
It's not
static?
reading this.
Doesn't look
All
like
it's
it.
doing, all it's doing is prepending site slash onto the site ID.
I see what you're saying. It could be, that could be static.
Yeah, it could be. It's not. So that's all right. That's fine. So I just need to inject
Yeah,
site service.
I see what
That's
you're
no
saying. You're
problem.
saying, do I really need to do that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
answer
Yeah, it
is
seems like you
yes, you
shouldn't.
do. We could have made that static in this future someday, but
Yeah,
it's not static now.
yeah. My typing is getting worse 'cause I'm feeling the pressure of the dentist.
Yeah.
We're all
I
feeling
haven't looked at the clock for like 5 minutes to see if I'm late for the dentist. So I'm
okay.
really excited about what we're doing.
Okay. We're all feeling the pressure of the dentist. Dentist.
And here I am drinking coffee with sugar on the way to the dentist. So,
Okay, what's that about? Ah,
oh, you
permissions.
didn't import permissions.
Yeah, it's got to bring that in. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, try it again.
Man, sometimes the Java compiler just kind of goes nuts. Just
Yeah,
like you missed a semicolon and I'm just going to explode the entire universe for now. Just ruin it all.
yeah, yeah. Right. Okay. So let's just see if that should come up nicely there. Let's check that.
Come on, start.
Right. Okay. Let's,
Go.
let's have a look. So we should get some more interactivity now with the permissions widget. Okay. So add page not there. Great. 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 Let's select our page. Now, do we have to refresh? We shouldn't. We shouldn't. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't get the refresh there, which is a bit of a shame. So you'd have to re-render. You'd have to trigger a re-render when the permission widget's finished. Yeah, with the new. So you'd have to pull the data again.
But
Yeah.
you can trigger the refresh in the JavaScript when you know that you
Yeah, but I'd
fired the
rather
save
not.
page, right?
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, I hate doing that though. Well, yeah, yeah. Anyway, it works, right? So there we go. So we got add page.
I guess you could just trigger the retrieval of that state bit, right? You could just retrigger, you could just force that to reload.
Yeah, but
But
I think what I'd
pages,
want to, yeah, what I'd want to do though at that point is I'd want to actually have the links in a separate fetch request. Because like if we had like 1,000 pages here, right?
oh.
Yeah, it's all bundled in one thing, isn't it? So this is like um this is like that kind of GraphQL type stuff, right? I just want that
Well,
bit.
this is basically also HateOS, right? Or HatOS or whatever.
Yeah, hat.
Where they like this idea that you're getting this kind of metadata along with the data, right?
Yeah,
And the metadata tells you whether to show that or not, but all of a sudden you're like, you know what? It'd probably be just better to get that data.
yeah, yeah. Right. So I'll keep on going, and you can just call a hard stop when you so you got delete page, right? So let's do the same thing for delete page. Now, delete page isn't guarded, right? It's not guarded, right? So we need to guard the delete page button in it. So we're back in the pages component here, right? I know I'm flying around like crazy, but it's the way it is.
Let's call a hard stop here, Adrian.
Okay.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
I like we now kind of know what next week is going to be.
Yep. Okay.
We're going to put an if around the delete page, and I think we probably need an edit page permission at this point. Like just looking at this code, right?
Yeah.
Like we know we're going to put an if around this thing, but then you look right above it and you got the edit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that means we need a permission, right? This is kind of how you go. I mean,
Yeah.
that edit should come and go with an edit permission.
Exactly. We just need to. So I mean, what we'd probably do is we'd add an edit permission on the individual page JSON feeds, right? So yeah, you'd fine grain it, so you could then it'd be really
So
flexible.
we could add a thing where the teacher could click, can students edit this page, right?
Yeah. Or
Because in
share
conversations,
page.
you've done things like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
is this editable? Some things can be editable by students.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
frankly, then once we do that, we might want to just make it so that students, we can say that the teacher always can delete pages. Well, if you got the if we're going to have to change the data model for pages, because if we're going to make a student delete, that's going to have to be in every page as a as a thing, student edit.
Yeah.
But then in the pages list, yeah, in the pages list, we're going to want to look at both the site-wide can delete and the per page can delete. And that's what we're going to want to put here based on the page ID, right? Because that's a real rich
Yeah,
capability.
yeah, yeah, it is. And also you may have logic around can a user currently delete a page because that page is currently locked, or it's do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It might not just be a permission thing, right? It might be some other logic around whether it's deletable at the moment in time, you know. So I think it's good to just to do that in advance. It's not very costly to do that, to add that just into the JSON. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up. I'll give you the last word and then I'll press the recording stop and then I will go to the dentist office.
I don't know if I've really got any last words. I mean, that was a short session and short but sweet. Hopefully, you know, we've done a bit of hate OAS. We've exposed people to the security service, how you unlock a permission in Sakai, which is quite easy, quite elegant, and heavily cached. And we've set out what we're going to do next time. So I think that's a great way to finish. So good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that impressed me was how few lines of code. And the other thing about how convention reduces the number of pieces of code that you got to do. And so thanks a lot and see you after my dentist appointment.
Cool. Good luck.